Dear comrades and friends, it's a true honor to stand before you today at such a critical stage for Cuba and the global struggle for socialism. I extend our deepest gratitude to all of you, especially the Revolutionary Communist Group and Rock Around the Blockade for the invitation, and also for your unwavering solidarity with Cuba. Your support strengthens our resolve in the face of imperialist aggression by the US. We meet at a time when Cuba is continuing its struggle against the longest and most comprehensive blockade in history, the US blockade. For more than 60 years, this policy has sought to suffocate our economy and isolate us from international community. Despite these hardships, Cuba remains resilient and firmly committed to building a just socialist society for the benefit of our people. Today, Cuba is facing an energy crisis that has placed our people in a state of emergency. This crisis is a direct result of the criminal blockade and the unilateral coercive measures imposed by the United States of America. This crisis is also a direct result of the unilateral designation of Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism. And as you all know, it's a baseless designation. It's a politically motivated designation that Cuba does not deserve on one hand, and on the other hand, the US is not entitled to designate neither Cuba nor any other country as a state sponsor of terrorism. This designation prevents Cuba from accessing to fuel, securing loans, trading with international partners, and especially affects our main sources of income. These aggressive policies have severely limited our ability to meet basic energy needs and also has exacerbated the hardships of the Cuban people. Cuba's commitment to its socialist path has long frustrated imperialism, which has sought to prove our system unworkable since the triumph of the revolution in 1959. This is very important because sometimes we hear that the blockade was imposed officially in 1962. But the reality is that since January the 1st, 1959, we have evidence that the US has been imposing economic unilateral measures against Cuba. So that's why we emphasize on this particular issue. The blockade was deliberately designed to create situations like the one our people are now experiencing. But despite these challenges, we remain steadfast in our resolve. And the solidarity we are receiving from friends around the world shows Cuba that we are not alone in this struggle. The inclusion of Cuba in the so-called list of sponsors of terrorism, as I said, has exacerbated the already devastating effects of the blockade. This baseless designation is a clear political weapon aimed at further damaging our economy. It falsely labels Cuba as a supporter of terrorism, when in fact, Cuba has always been a promoter of peace, solidarity, and international cooperation. Your solidarity has been essential in amplifying the call to remove Cuba from this list and also to end the blockade once and for all. Despite the challenges, we remain resilient, and I'm pleased to mention that Cuba has formally applied to join the BRICS group as a partner country. The BRICS nations represent a new frontier of economic and political cooperation that challenges the dominance of US imperialism and promotes a more just and multipolar world. Joining the BRICS is not only an opportunity for Cuba to expand its economic ties, but also a demonstration of our commitment to solidarity with the global South. Our interest in BRICS is not just about economic cooperation. It's also about being part of the global movement that rejects the dominance of imperialism, in particular the US, and promotes a more just international system. Cuba reaffirms its commitment to building a multipolar world in which the countries of the global South can work together in solidarity. We are not alone in this effort, neither. Our brother nation, Venezuela, under the leadership of President Maduro, has also strengthened its ties with the BRICS. We are following in the footsteps of Fidel and Chavez, who worked tirelessly for the unity of Latin America and the creation of a multipolar world. They understood that our liberation from the US imperialism would come through solidarity, cooperation, and resistance to domination. Their vision lives on in the efforts of Venezuela, Cuba, and other nations that continue to fight for the sovereignty and dignity of our people. Che Guevara once said, "The true revolutionary is guided by great feelings of love." It is this love for our peoples, for our sovereignty, and for justice that drives us forward in this struggle. Dear friends, today, October the 20th, also Cuba's National Day of Culture, a very, very special day for all of us. And I was really touched with the poem. It brings a lot of memories, even going back to primary school. And it also brings so much love from this meeting to my country and to what culture represents for Cuba and for socialism. And on this day, we are also reminded of the profound role that culture plays in our revolutionary identity. Our culture is a culture of resistance, born of struggles for independence, social justice, and human dignity. It is this revolutionary spirit that continues to guide Cuba as we confront the ongoing challenges posed by the imperialism. As we discuss the struggle for socialism, it's important to understand that this struggle is international. As this movement, as we reflect on the struggles for our people, we cannot ignore the ongoing tragedy in Palestine. The genocide against the Palestinian people is a grave injustice that should concern all of humanity. The oppression and violence suffered by the Palestinian people at the hands of Israeli apartheid is a clear manifestation of imperialism and colonialism. As Fidel Castro once said, "The cause of Palestine is the cause of all of the oppressed people of the world." It It is our responsibility as revolutionaries to stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people and demand an end to this terrible violence. Cuba, as always, stands firmly with Palestine in its just struggle for freedom, dignity, and self-determination. In this spirit of international solidarity, I want to express my deep gratitude to all of you who have stood with Cuba during our most difficult times. Your commitment, whether through activism, raising awareness, or lobbying against the blockade, shows that we are not alone in this struggle. Together, we are building bridges of solidarity that strengthen the bonds between our peoples. Solidarity is more than words, it is deeds. It is the countless campaigns to remove Cuba from social unjust list, like the one we have been designated as a state sponsor of terrorism. Solidarity is also the demands to end the blockade. And solidarity is the grassroots movements that continue to grow and support of our people. Your actions reminds us that a better world is possible. And together, we will continue to fight for it, no matter what. Thank you, comrades, for your friendship, for your support, for your solidarity. Hasta la victoria siempre, until victory always. Hands up, Cuba!